Hey, what's up?
Hey.
How's it going? What are y'all doing?
Nothing. I'm walking to my house.
Huh?
I'm walking over here to my granddad's.
Okay. Just do me a favor. Come over here. Have a seat, both of you.
What?
No, we're not doing that.
Have a seat.
For what?
Have a seat.
For what?
Hey, is he still good? Hey, oh man.
Right there, man. Push him inside. Is he breathing? Sit him up if you can.
I don't feel a pulse. Uh-oh.
Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. New body cam footage just released out of Raleigh, North Carolina, where I once worked as a prosecutor, showing police officers encountering, detaining, and using force against Daryl Tyree Williams on January 17, 2023. That use of force, involving multiple uses of tasers by multiple officers, resulted in the death of Mr. Williams. What I want to focus on is not the actual tasing part, you know how that goes, but rather whether it was constitutional for him to have been detained and handcuffed in the first place. Nobody had reported a crime. Rather, the officers were allegedly engaged in what they called proactive patrols of business parking lots in a location they claim has a history of repeat calls for drugs, weapons, and other criminal violations. This is an important constitutional issue. When did the seizure take place? When were Fourth Amendment protections first triggered here? Well, it depends on the facts, and in this case, the footage.
Hello. Hey, how you guys doing? You guys okay?
We're good.
Alright, we're just checking on people. You were the only car in the parking lot. Lights on.
I'm the only car in the parking lot.
With the lights on. The only one that's got people
I'm just
in
waiting
it.
for somebody to come out.
Okay, you guys are good.
Okay.
Alright, yep.
Upon arriving, Officer Robinson requested over police radio for additional officers to assist with patrols of the area. Officer D.L. Aquino arrived shortly thereafter. After parking, Officer Thomas initially approached one vehicle on foot and checked on the occupants, according to them. Officer Robinson went to a second vehicle that was occupied by two people, one in the driver's seat and one in the front right passenger seat. The person in the driver's seat was later identified as Daryl Tyree Williams.
We're good.
Oh, what the hell?
What's going on?
We're not doing nothing.
Alright, that's fine.
This is what I believe to be the important part. I'm going to switch to the second officer's body cam footage to show a better view of what actually happened. The official police report for this incident, which I'll post at the blog and link in the description, says this. Upon approaching the vehicle, the passenger opened the door and Officer Robinson observed an open container of alcohol and marijuana in the car and requested Mr. Williams and the passenger to exit. But if you watch the footage from the closest officer's body cam, is that really what happened?
You can talk to him. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
How's it going? What are y'all doing?
Nothing. I'm walking to my house.
Huh?
I'm walking over here to my granddad's.
Okay. Just do me a favor. Come over here. Have a seat, both of you.
What?
No, we're not doing that.
Have a seat.
For what?
Have a seat.
For what?
Yes, the passenger opened the door. But why did he open the door? A uniformed police officer walked up to him with his flashlight shining in the car's tinted window. It appears that a marked police cruiser is actually blocking the car from leaving. According to the police report, the alleged crime suspected was observing an open container of alcohol and marijuana in the car. It doesn't appear that the cop could see that before the door was opened. Moreover, the report states that the car door opened first and then the officers saw those items. Also, it wasn't just the passenger who opened the door. The cop grabbed the door and pulled it all the way open while still shining the light on the guys in the car. So you have two different scenarios for these types of police encounters. One, consensual encounters, which are theoretically voluntary in nature, meaning that the suspects are technically free to leave at any time, and this does not trigger Fourth Amendment protections for them. And then you have, secondly, official detainment, or an investigatory detention it's sometimes called, which does in fact trigger Fourth Amendment protections. So for a lawful detainment to occur, officers must have reasonable suspicion of a crime. That did not exist here, according to the report, until after that car door was opened. So if the occupants in the car were already detained prior to the officer observing the open container and marijuana, then they were being illegally detained from the very beginning. So the issue here over whether that's the case is a factual one. As a general matter, police officers are free to approach and question individuals without necessarily affecting a seizure. A person is seized within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment only when the officer, by means of physical force or a show of authority, has in some way restrained the liberty of a citizen. That's from Terry versus Ohio. Such a seizure can be said to occur when, after considering the totality of the circumstances, a court concludes that a reasonable person would have believed that they were not free to go and to leave. The appropriate question is whether that person would feel free to terminate the encounter. That's from Florida versus Bostick, U.S. Supreme Court. What do we look at when we're weighing these facts, this issue? Well, courts have said this: the number of police officers present during the encounter, whether they're in uniform, whether they've displayed their weapons, or whether they've touched the defendant, or in this case, their car, whether they attempted to block his departure or restrain his movement. Here, the car was blocking, it appears from their body cam footage, the departure of the suspect's car, whether the officer's questioning was non-threatening, whether they were treating the defendant as though they suspected him of illegal activity rather than treating the encounter as routine in nature. This would make a very good case that they were detained from the very beginning.
511, Ron. Have a seat.
What did we stop? Why?
Have a seat.
For what?
Have a seat.
Right.
Have a seat. 1037 vehicle 808 Rockport. Send us one more. Check it. 21.
We're not doing nothing though.
All right, that's fine. Face the car.
Okay.
Yeah. Face the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
You grab the other one.
What's going on?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. Don't move, okay? You understand?
For what reason? Do you have any weapons on you? No, sir. I do. I have knives.
You got chapter 90, Keno?
No, all I got is one more pocket.
Keep your hands up there, man.
One of these bottom pockets.
This is my boyfriend's car. It's none of my pockets. It's money in my pockets.
Keep both your hands
It's
up.
my boyfriend's car.
Keep both of your hands on the car. If you can't listen to my instructions, I'm gonna put you in handcuffs. I'm not trying to put you in handcuffs.
Ooh, they're the fish sticks.
Are you serious? Is this the only knife you have on you? No, I got one in my jacket pocket. In my jacket pocket. Right here.
He was talking to you.
Put your hand right there.
Right here.
Come on.
Those hands right
Relax, man. Relax.
Fighting us this whole time.
Chill out.
I need someone to check me for probes.
Check you?
Yeah, I probably
check
got
me
one.
for probes. Pretty sure I got hit with one. He might be out on the ground now. I got crossed by one at least.
Hey, is he still good? Hey, oh man.
Right there, man.
Push him inside.
Is he breathing? Sit him up if you can.
I don't feel a pulse. Uh-oh. I don't feel a pulse.
In the recovery position.
What's all that about?
Dude, they're stupid. They sat there while we were walking up the other car. I saw that was two girls, so I came back over here and they tried to dip. Let's search this.
What happened with this guy? Driver?
Yeah, he wouldn't sit down.
According to the police report, this is how officers are claiming it turned into a use of force. During the investigative detention, Officer Robinson located a folded dollar bill in Mr. Williams' pocket containing a white powdery substance consistent with the appearance of cocaine. Officer J.R. Scott arrived as Officer Robinson was examining the contents of the dollar bill. Based on the contents of the dollar bill, Officer Robinson made the decision to arrest Mr. Williams for possession of a controlled substance. When Officer Robinson attempted to arrest Mr. Williams and told him to place his hands hands behind his back, Mr. Williams became combative and resistant. Subsequently, officers requested additional police assistance, including the need for an immediate response. Officers Thomas, Aquino, and Scott assisted Officer Robinson as he attempted to handcuff Mr. Williams and take him into custody. Mr. Williams continued to resist their efforts and was able to overpower and pull away from them. Those are their words from their police report. Then that led to Mr. Williams being tased multiple times. You can watch the raw footage of that incident at the original body cam links, which I'll post in the description. This sort of thing is happening more and more. Multiple officers tasing someone, all shouting, "Stop resisting," or "Give me your hands," or something to that effect. Anytime violence is used against anyone, you're running the risk that someone you're dealing with has pre-existing problems that may cause them to die. Was that the case here? At one point, Mr. Williams mentions that he has a heart problem. Perhaps that's what happened here. I don't know. But my larger point here in this video is that we shouldn't have made it to the point of going through the Graham factors and determining whether or not the tasing was excessive or unnecessary here. Very likely it was, based on what I've seen. But it was entirely unnecessary because it was unjustified from the very beginning. They had no reason to be looking for Mr. Williams here. Nobody had called the police on him. Nobody had alleged that a crime had even been committed. These cops were just out looking for problems. Sure, they could objectively go the trespassing route, but I see no evidence that any of these businesses had complained to the police about trespassing, especially about these particular individuals. And remember, reasonable suspicion has to be particular to the individual person, the suspect, not categorical, and certainly not based on race, and so on. As always, thanks for watching. Remember, freedom is scary. It's not about whether the person deserved it, or whether you personally like or dislike something or someone. It's about protecting constitutional rights. If you want yours, you have to protect everyone's, even if it scares you. See you next time.